Hello, you beautiful, beautiful people. It's a friendly neighbor Welva once again, and now we actually come into the brand new Livenue, Winking, Whimsicott, and Winking Courtney Safari. And there are 4 other Pokemon that can be caught here, basically Aipom, Ebipom, Cyrodiil, and Swaloon. Alright, so these are the 7 brand new Pokemon that can be caught in this safari, and before you actually get started on the safari, make sure you activate the mission card whereby you can get a combo of, let's say, 100, 120 or even 123. This is probably your best opportunity to actually get those high combo scores. Alright, and starting off, the very first Pokemon that I actually encountered was actually probably one of the rarest, because it's actually shining when it appears in the stage. It is the Winking Whimsicott. Alright, so for this stage, this is probably the only stage, or one of the 2 stages where you probably need a Barrier Bash Plus Pokemon. I would say I would use the word need loosely, because if you use Mega such as Mega Gengar for instance, it can also deal with those barriers pretty easily, along with the likes of maybe a Candid Rayquaza as well. So you might want to bring a Barrier Bash Pokemon, a super effective one, especially in the form of, let's say, Reshiram. And Talonflame is basically there because some of the other stages will actually require a Block Smash Plus ability. And your Mega can be either, let's say, a Mega Charizard Y, it can be a Mega Blaziken, you can even go with a Candid Mega Gengar or even a Candid Mega Rayquaza. And there we go, we actually caught one of the rarest 2 Pokemon in this safari, which is Winking Whimsicott, and its ability will be Eject Plus. Alright, and now we actually come to Swaloon, which is basically the evolved form of Cyrodiil. Alright, so for this stage, I'm using the same 3 suspects in the form of Mega Charizard Y, Reshiram, and also Talonflame. In this stage, you don't really still need Talonflame in the form of Block Smash Plus, but for the majority of the other 5 stages, you will probably need that ability very, very much so. Alright, so there we go, we actually defeated with 5 moves left, and when I caught this Swaloon, it actually had 4 moves left. So sometimes the catch rate that is shown here does not directly reflect the stages that were actually defeated with the amount of moves left. Sometimes I just wanted to show the stage where I did the best attempt with the best amount of moves left. So if you get the idea, then hopefully that helps. Alright, and now we come to its pre-evolved form, which is Cyrodiil. Alright, so for this stage, again using the same Mega, my Mega Charizard Y is not Candid at all, so if you even go with Mega Gengar, you can probably do better in this stage as well, especially on barrier type stages. Alright, so with this stage, you should be able to defeat this stage with maybe around an average of 3 or 4 moves left. And for most of this safari, if you actually defeat the stage with 3 moves left, you should be getting an average of around 25% catch rate. Again, for this stage, I actually managed to catch it when it had maybe around 2 or 3 moves left. I cannot remember. But there we go, it actually stayed in the Pokeball with 20%, and it has counter attack. Not as good as Swaloon with its power of 4+ ability, but it is still, we probably still won't use it, unfortunately. Alright, so if you actually manage to catch all those 5 grass type stage Pokemon, then you can start to bring in those fighting types with you, such in the form of, let's say, Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is actually pretty good because it actually has last stage effort, and most of these stages pretty much only has around maybe 6 to 9 moves. They are just basically 6 to 9 move stages for most of these safari. So once you get 4 moves left, you can start to activate last ditch effort, and Gallade is there for its useful Block Smash Plus. If you're still bringing fire types along for majority of these grass type stages, and if you do encounter Aipom, you can still defeat it pretty comfortably with that same fire team that I have been using for the past 3 stages, especially with Talonflame. And this is one of those stages where Talonflame can actually come in pretty useful. Alright, so yeah, so there we go. So this is Aipom, and yeah, we also got the S-Rank for these stages, as well as the previous 3 stages as well. So there we go, 4 stages left. and I actually caught this Aipom when it actually only had 3 moves left, so that explains the pretty low 20% catch rate. Alright, and there we go, Aipom is caught, and we only have another, let me see, I think we only have another 3 more Pokemon to go. Alright, so coming into, we actually have the evolved form of Aipom, which is actually Ambipom. Alright, so for this stage as well, pretty much using the same team again, using the same fighting type team, with the likes of, and you'll be getting some Ambipom icons as well, unfortunately. So what you can actually do is, because it will always summon Ambipom icons on B1 and E1, what I actually did was I actually dragged the Ambipom onto B3, just underneath the existing Ambipom on B2. So I actually got an automatic match once I actually summoned the Ambipom on B1. So if you guys can actually try to manipulate this based on how it disrupts on its second turn, then you can actually do pretty well in this stage. Far much better for this stage, and you don't really need an eject or eject plus Pokemon. Alright, and I also caught this Ambipom at a much lower, I think I only caught it when it only had 2 moves left. So again, sometimes these stages do not reflect how the catch rates, unfortunately, but there we go. So if you actually do defeat it in 5 moves left, you should be getting a much better catch rate, much better catchability rate. Alright, now we actually come to Leavanny. So for Leavanny, what you can actually do is, again, the reason why I actually decided to actually change it up to Mega Gengar is because mainly, as you can see, these are various stages, and Mega Gengar actually does so much better in various stages compared to the likes of Mega Charizard, which will take a much longer time for it to evolve. And because most of these stages are pretty low move stages, yeah, if you get the idea, that is why I decided, that's the one reason why you can actually switch it up to Mega Gengar as well. So these are the 2 options that I'm using for most of these stages. You can either go with Mega Charizard Y, or you can even go with a Mega Gengar team. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea. And with that, we actually defeated it in 2 moves. So we actually had 7 moves left for Leavanny, and because if you can see, it is shiny, it is one of the rarest, if not the rarest Pokemon to actually find in this Safari. Okay, so with that, 62% hopefully it stays in the Pokeball, and it does. Okay, so we caught Leavanny, and we only got 1 Pokemon left. So yeah, on the first encounter, I managed to catch Leavanny. It took me more than 50 hearts, I would say, to actually finally encounter this Pokemon. So it's a bit of a challenge, but hopefully you guys can catch it much better. Alright, and this Weekend Cottony, I'm actually fast forwarding this stage because I have encountered this stage so many times, but the catch rate for Cottony is so low that it is one of the rarest, it is maybe the 3rd rarest Pokemon that you can find in this Safari, but the catchability rate of this Pokemon is so low. So do not be disheartened if you do not catch it on the first try. It actually appears pretty commonly, maybe around, I would say, it might have an encounter rate of 10%, I'm not too sure, but it feels like it has a encounter rate of 10%, roughly there. So with that, just keep trying. This is probably the 8th Cottony that I actually encountered before I finally managed to catch it, and this was the last Pokemon for me to catch. So hopefully if I do well on this stage, I might consider throwing a Great Ball to catch it, because I actually caught all the other 6 other Pokemon. Alright, and hopefully, and there we go. This was actually my best attempt for this stage, actually defeating this stage in 2 moves left, and Mega Gengar made so much of a better difference compared to Mega Charizard Y. So that was the main reason why I actually changed it up from Mega Charizard Y to Mega Gengar. So my recommendation for this Safari is to pretty much just use Mega Gengar. It was fun using Mega Charizard Y, but Mega Gengar did much better, especially on those barrier type stages. And there we go. Thankfully, it only required 1 Great Ball because it popped out of the Pokeball for the past 8 times. And then we go Cottony, a Wicked Cottony with Cord Control, so pretty interesting stuff. So this concludes the safari, so I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you do, drop a like, feel free to subscribe, and stay awesome. Catch you in the next video.